Here's a quick tour of the studio on a cloudy day in Singapore. So I'm lucky enough to have a dedicated bedroom in my apartment that's my studio, so I can come here anytime to work and be creative. It's about 3.5 by 4.5 meters and 3 meters tall, so it's not as big as I would like it to be, but if you know how small Singapore is, how expensive the land here is, you would know that I'm lucky, and it's got really everything that I need to be really creative and produce high quality music, whether it's electronic music or working with my friends who sing and play guitar. And I've done my best to make it really ergonomic. So the way that it's organized is I've got my desk up there with the panels on each side with different processors, and a nice rack on the right with a lot of great analog devices that I'll explain a little bit later. And then there I've got a rack of all of my analog synthesizers, which I won't go through one by one now, but down here I've got all of my guitar stuff, so two tube amps, a Marshall and a Fender, my guitar pedals, and down here I've got my latest amp, which is a much bigger Marshall tube amp that I picked up secondhand for a really good price, so I couldn't leave it behind. It's a bit too loud for this room, but it's nice to have. I've collected guitars over the years. I'm not, a guitar hero, but I do enjoy playing guitar, and I think my favorite one is this custom shop Gibson Les Paul that just sounds fantastic. As you can see, I put a bit of effort into soundproofing the room, bass traps, clouds, panels, and to the right of my desk I've got the rack with a lot of nice devices, a better maker, mastering limiter, a number of converters. So even though I'm using Universal Audio Apollo X8 as my sound interface, I'm not using the converter. So the converters that I use are much higher grade converters that I have connected digitally. So I've got a Burl B2 Bomber, that's analog digital. Interstellar is also analog digital from Cranesong. Solaris from Cranesong is digital analog. So that is the input and output. Highest quality. I've got a lot of 500 series modules from Wes Audio, two Neve 542s, which I think sound fantastic. I recently picked up a Wes Audio NG bus compressor, which is great. Here I've got my Manly Massive Passive tube equalizer, SPL Gemini for mid-side, and Rupert Neve master bus processor, all within reaching distance when I'm sitting at my desk. To the right I've got another rack. There I've got two channel strips with nice preamps for recording microphones, like LA610 and the Neve 1073. Both really great sounding, very different. I've got the pair of distressors there, really quite powerful compressors, but versatile. Great for a lot of like parallel compressing drums, but also sometimes when I'm tracking synths, I run them through the distressor. All of the synths come in, and everything in the studio comes in through a digital patch bay called the Flock Patch. So you can see right now the track that I'm playing, which you can't hear, but it's playing on my computer. It's running through a mix bus that is the Neve 542, then the Wes Audio, and then back into the box through the Interstellar. So with the patch, digital patch bay, you can just drag and drop different effects in and out of your chain and change the order of the chain, just like you would plugins, which is, it's next level. Makes it so much easier. You don't have to like physically rewire things or commit to any particular order of wiring together your hardware units. So I'm really happy with that. The only thing is it's got a limited number of ins and outs, so I've just already used all of them, and if I want to get more gear, I'm going to have to expand the Flock Patch. So I've worked a lot on ergonomics so that I can reach everything. I have chosen Genelec for my monitors. I've got the 8341s, the really, really detailed high-end monitors with software that'll correct for your room. In retrospect, I would have gotten bigger ones. I've had to get the evil sub that sits under the desk to get the low end to sit right. And but yeah, it's sounding great in here. I probably shouldn't second guess myself too much. There I've got the Buddhas up in the corners that look after me, or look after the studio when I'm not there. I recently got those corner bass traps that they're standing on, which are helping again to make the sound in the room really great. Everything's within reach in the sweet spot, so I can adjust the better maker master luminaire from the sweet spot, and the input and the output, or even mess with the little digital display to change the settings if I don't want to touch with a mouse. The Manley Massive Passive I wanted to have really near me, as well as the SPL, because those are adjustments you want to make if you're mastering something while you're really in the sweet spot of where the stereo image is right and everything. The desk is the Argosy Ultimate. It's a desk that I picked up at secondhand. I got it for the ergonomics. It does also have this motorized height adjustment, which I don't use as much as I thought I would. It's not why I got the desk, but it is cool because I can alleviate my, the burden of sitting down all day and stand up and work. And it easily lifts the considerable amount of gear that's on there. I did have to wire everything so that it takes into account that sometimes the desk gets raised and allows it to move up and down without things getting stretched or unplugged or even damaged. So if you're thinking about a desk like this, you gotta work on it. So yeah, that's a studio.